So, this is Angelika Lee from StrategicLee at our Stanford, I was going to say, personal branding class, and the students loved it. They laughed at the right places, and when they were leaving, they were telling me how great it was.
Good.
What do you think 3 or 4 of the main things that people tuning in on this should know about personal branding in your experience?
Yeah, well, one is, the first thing they have to do is they have to be strategic about it. So by that I mean they have to decide why they're doing it, when they're going to do it, how they're going to be consistent, and what's their end goal in the game. And then they can decide how much of it they need to do in order to meet those goals. So I think that's the big thing. The second thing is privacy and security. And be really aware of oversharing, what kind of information you are sharing, and especially in social media, but also, you know, live. It's not necessary for you to give every detail about your life and share every single photo you've ever had, you know, or, you know, tell someone every problem that you have when you meet them. So be very aware about what you're sharing when you're doing your branding. And then the last thing that I would say is understand their platform. What are they an expert at?
What does that mean, their platform?
Well, I think that, you know, when you're deciding to take part or do a branding exercise in yourself, you want to understand what you're an expert at, what things you're really just passionate or excited about. Because this needs to be fun, and it needs to be comfortable, and it needs to be real. So they need to figure those things out, and they also need to understand, like I said, what's their end game, and how do all these things, you know, do the math, figure out how they all add together to success. And the last thing, I just heard this great in a speech on branding recently, but it was, how does the world change? Or maybe it's just your life change if you've done these things well. So for some people, this is a very casual thing, using social media, but if you're branding yourself personally, it is a very strategic thing. And therefore, it has reasons, it has goals, it has maps, it has strategies, it has tactics. And then, if it is successful, how do you measure that? And if it's not successful, what do you do about it?
But the measuring of success in social media isn't a real science yet, in a sense.
No, it's not.
Or will it ever not be?
Well,
will it always be?
It
you link them?
depends. It depends. If you're a larger brand, it can very much so be a science.
I was
it can
thinking
be linked to
personally.
sales. But for me personally, it's a business lead tool. So I don't do any sort of print advertising or other sorts of marketing. I don't really sponsor things. So for me, that is my lead generation tool, and therefore I can map it and mark it. So you have to just, again, once you start at the beginning and decide what you want to do, and then why you're doing what you want to do, and then how often you're going to do what you want to do, and you do all the math till it gets all the way to the end, and then you decide, okay, this is what my life looks like if my branding exercise goes well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.